Today I thought we'd get some Mother's Day cards made since it's right around the corner. And I don't know what I'm doing yet, so I just have some things out and we're gonna play and see what happens. So let's get started, shall we? So I thought I'd get started with something pretty simple. I have, just a plain card, and I have this slice of decorative paper that I've cut, and I'm just gonna use that as my background. I want to put a heart on this, and that is a really large heart. It is 2 3/4. I think I want to go with some contrasting colors. So let's just try and see how this looks. Sometimes you just have to stack it up and see how it goes. Oh, I kind of like that. Not 100% sold, but I kind of like it. Okay, so I've got some paper. I've cut out my heart, and I like the way that that looks together. So I'm just going to find some other embellishment and see what I can do with that. I like these little polka dots, but they're kind of competing. So I'm gonna just take a tiny strip of this and see if that sort of makes the card pop a bit, because I think it's kind of flat, so it just needs a little zhuzhing. So I've got a little bit of color going on here with the little strip, and I don't know. Let's kind of go with that. I like that. So we're just going to double stick this down. I see people like with their double stick tape, and it's like, I think they use one roll of double stick tape on a whole card. It's like every little bit has double stick. Keep in mind what you're taping. So it's just a card. It's, you're not sending the space shuttle into orbit. So, and plus if you use less tape, when you put it on crooked, you got less to move. Now, I just put that on crooked on purpose, just to show you. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So I have that on, and now I'm going to get my trusty glue stick, my cocoina, whatever kind of glue that is. And if you get like catalogs in the mail, my mom gets like a million. These are great for your glue pages. So I just open up a page, and you notice I haven't cut that yet. We're just gonna lay our glue down. And I'm just gonna position that sort of in the middle-ish. And we're done with our glue page. But see how nicely that worked? Okay, so we're continuing with our card, and I decided at the last minute that I think this would look quite lovely as a 3D card. So I got my little 3D dots, and I have another heart punch, which I'm going to use to kind of off-center another heart. Got this blue paper here, which goes with the theme, and I think that's cute. I was just gonna like put that whole glue dot down and like just pretend that that's what I normally do, but I'm cheap, so I cut them in half. And then I also like to use the little points that aren't part of the dots for sharp angly bits, like the end of our heart here. And can't decide if I want to pop up the heart as well, the little accent heart. Let's see. What do you think? I kind of do. So, okay, so I got my little glue dots all done, and we're just going to put that straight on. I tend to put things at an angle, but I think our little blue accent heart's going to go at an angle. And for this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the full glue dot. What the heck? Live on the wild side, right? And seriously, glue dots. These glue dots, whoever made them, they do not age well. Okay. And we're going to call that one done. And it's really simple. Okay, for the next card, we're going to do a watercolor. And I have this stamp, which is by, well, God only knows who. Doesn't have any kind of marker. I thought I may have bought this unmounted and mounted it myself, but it's too perfectly done, so I really don't think I did. Anyway, maybe this one just skipped the marker color. My card is just a plain, I don't know, ivory-ish cardstock. And I'm gonna stamp her out on this cream color. Let's see how that looks. We can get a different color if we decide differently. This is Memories ink, and it's watercolor safe. So we know that once we let it dry, I can go back over this with my watercolor and it's not going to run. And we're going to put her on the edge here. And there she stamps. So while we're letting that dry so we can watercolor with it, I'm just going to use this paper. It's double-sided. It's got cakes and pies on the other side. I know I got that from Stampin' Up. Okay, so the way I usually will do this is I'll get my double stick tape out. And then I just line up the corner and lay that down, flip it over, take my X-Acto, and trim out the excess. That's how I get a nice border on my card. So there's that. Nice half and half. And let's cut our little gal out here. Really toying with the idea of fussy cutting her out, but I always regret that once I start. And then it just puts me in a bad mood. That's pretty squared up. I'm just going to trim a little off the edge because I'm fussy. Okay, that's better. I like that better. Okay, so there's that. And we're going to look and see how she goes on there. And she goes on there very blandly. So I have a corner punch here. And I'm just going to notch the corners. Now I have the little corners notched, and I really think she needs a background. This one. Yeah, I'm into mixing prints lately. Okay, I'm going to give that nice size border. And the way I'm doing this is kind of the way I do most cards, is I just tend to eyeball it. I know I've told you, like, oh, let's use the mat here and use the lines and whatever, blah, blah, blah business. And I do when I want things to be perfect. But let's face it, it's not going to be perfect. And the more you do things like this, the better your eye gets. So I didn't use my lines to measure that out, but that's pretty good. I mean, that seems to be pretty nicely balanced on there. So I'm not gonna lie, that's probably, I probably can trust my eye a little more after doing this for, I don't know, 30 years. So I've notched that again, and let's see how it looks on the card. I'm pleased with that. And now let's get ready to watercolor. So we're going to set our card aside. We're going to get our brushes. We're going to get our water. And we're going to get our paper towel. And, oh, we're going to get our watercolor because, yeah, that might help. So, I'm just going to use the cheapy brush that came with the watercolor and wet that. And I'm not going to be perfect with these, and I may not color in all the flowers. I don't know yet. We'll see how it looks. But I've got some red. And, oops, sorry, I should have put this more toward me. Let's see what we get here. And I'm just gonna start hitting the flowers. Just some random. And if it's pulling up too much, I can just take my paper towel and tamp it off. I have this color. I'm going to mix a little purple with it now and see if I get a darker color. These are the super cheap watercolors. I don't know if I've ever explained this to you, but I recently moved. I'm here in Georgia, and I recently moved from San Diego, and all of my stuff is still in my mother's garage. So it's kind of get what you can get. Okay, I absolutely hate that. That looks like mud. So let's, oh, actually, no, I like it. Sometimes once you lift the color, it gets a little more of a tint. So you can see what I've got going on so far with that. And let's see, let's go for some pure purple. And I'm just going to hit that again, the ones that I already did in the purple. And you'll see that they'll start to have some depth to them. And I'm not being too exact. If I go outside the lines, I go outside the lines. So that's what I'm ending up with. And I'm kind of picking up on the colors in the paper that's the background here. It's bright orange. Okay, we're just going to get another brush. We're going to get some red. And we're going to come in and finish up real quickly all the flowers. Being careful to stay in the lines at all times, as is proper art. Okay, snap that off, and that's what I have. I'm not going to color everything. I was going to color the leaves, but I think I'm just going to give her a little skin tone and leave everything else blank. Oh, you know, I just thought of the name of the designer of this stamp. It's Wren Rose. So I can't remember the distributor of the stamps, but I know the designer is Wren Rose. So I'll look that up. Okay, so we're going to give her some skin tone. So I'm going to start with her hands, just in case I don't like it. Then, you know, I'm not committed. But I do like it. So we're going to move up. Into your face. And then lift. We're going to let that dry and decide if we want to paint out her dress or not, because now I'm feeling like her dress needs to be painted. Okay, so I did decide to go ahead and color the dress in, and I know I want it to be like a pale blue. So let's go ahead and get some pale blue on our palette. That's a nice shade. And a little more water, because it is watercolor. And we're just gonna start brushing that on. And taking it off. And I'm going to go in a little close to things. This paint, the way I've made it, it's less watery. So I'm getting, it's got a bit of an opaqueness to it, which is nice because it covers up some of the little blops I've made. And the nice thing is you can go in and layer it in the places where you think it should be darker. Give it a little shadow. And then your watercolor has a little bit of depth to it, which is nice. I mean, that's not like science on how that's supposed to work, but I'm happy with it. Bring back our card. And I had some camera issues today, so if you've noticed the camera angle changing a lot, that is why. Because the cheap tripod that I bought, because I'm cheap, has now decided it doesn't want to hold on to my camera. So, there we go. I'm also having some lighting issues today. This is fun. This is like, well, just pretend this is like my first video instead of my third or fourth. Here are our two finished cards. The watercolor card, which I think looks nice. I've added a little silver to the dove here on her shoulder because I just thought it looked a little plain. So from the last time you saw it, that changed. And then the inside has Happy Mother's Day to my favorite mom. Ha ha ha. And I've stuck that in with just the glue so that this page is loose. You know, like you see at Hallmark, and you always are looking for the money behind this part and it's never there. Bentley, say hi. Hi, Bent. Hi, puppy. Hi. Okay, and here's our heart card with our floral papers. And then since I spilled a lot of the silver pen when I was shaking it up, apparently it's a little leaky, so I ended up with a cap full of ink. I just painted a little border around the heart here, so that's new. Inside is have a very happy Mother's Day. So I think those are two nice simple cards. And so if you use any of these techniques on cards of your own, doesn't have to be Mother's Day, go ahead and post it on Instagram and hashtag LazyLimaLife. Leave me a link in the comments and I'll take a look.